Now we're gonna unclaps the gas. That's an inner gas it will clap, but watch that. Okay, this is a little experiment I'm gonna do here to show you without connection. I can run this little tube there. This a neon tube with different gas on it. That's just the cell. I was putting the cell to charge up the water on top, but I find out it does all kinds of stuff. You can light up this whole tube. As long as you touch the water, it's turned on. Now, see this one light up. Just that's the old fluorescent, but you light a lot stronger when you touch the water. So the water is actually an amplifier. It's all the rest of the tube are the same way. See, and that gas is different. That gas, you have to start it. Sometimes it won't start it, but as soon as you start it, right? Some gas it takes more volt, but you need 12 to 1400 volts to get those neon tube go out. That's a lot of volts with no connection. And that one is a it's a gas that doesn't show very much. It's I believe that's helium. Let me see what I got here. I don't have a writing on it. I believe that's helium. So it does run, but you can barely see it. But it's something interesting also was working on is those are small fuse. I'll show you when I'm finished this test here. But look at that, I'm holding that with my hand. This is a spark gap on the vacuum. You get a shitload of heat between that spark gap to make it red like this. It's not just a little bit. So that's just an interesting how just by touching that and me handing up the other end, I'm pushing up so much heat and I don't even feel nothing in my finger. Same thing with those things. They glow but not strong on the pad. But if you put them in the water, look at the light show. That's them water. As long as my finger don't touch the water, that thing will light up fully like this. It's crazy. You know, that's a little test I wanted to do to show you. I got other tests coming up. Okay, I'm just going to do a test here. I'm going to plug, I'm going to connect this cell. The water's been charged. We're going to do is a double positive. So that means I'm going to connect the positive of the power supply on 2 element. And the ground, the neutral, only on 1 element on the center the third cell I have, which is in the middle of the other 2. And then we'll find out. Yeah, here we go. Get a little bit of better. Just readjust that a little bit. Okay. We're gonna start pumping out. So I'm going to put 12 volt into it. As you see, it's reacting already. It reacts really fast, even with 12 volt. It's really fast. You start making some bubble right away. I put a tiny, that's distilled water, and I put a tiny bit of salt in it to activate the reaction. And as you know, we're getting a massive amount of inner gas, right? And that's how fast the cell. Now you can crank up more volt faster the volt comes up. Now I'm going to bring it up to 24 volt. Oh, hang on, 18 volt. Now look at that. Now that's powerful. Now when I do that, the water will change color because I'm setting up a charge, an implosion, which resonates into that water and change the chemical of the water real fast. Now this is a pretty big bang, as you can see. I'll make one more, and then that's really working out. This cell is working really, really well. Let's see. Whoa, my ears are ringing now. All right, I'm going to reset this thing enough before I blow myself up. All right, so here's another little experiment. But now I'm going to show you how powerful it is, and there's a lot of gas there, so it's going to make a hell of a bang. So, you ready for that? That's pretty loud. My ears are ringing. Now, these gas do not explode. These gas implode. Rare, isn't it? They don't really tell you that in the world of science. No, the one I've been. So, if you have a gas will implode, do not explode, what can it be done with? Well, Joe's cell, actually now, it's getting clearer and clearer. Joe's cell don't run on gas, on that gas. When you run this car, you do not run through the gas because it's not forcing the gas into the motor. So I'm going to be making a top now to hold the pressure so I don't have all this reaction here because it's all open in the air, and every time I light up it create a chemical would change the top of the water and it get really scummy. So but I believe under pressure the cell should be stabilizing and literally staying nice and clear, and but the energy coming out from this cell is massive. Like really, it's the implosion. It claps on its own. That's mean clapping on its own. She have to go back into a large radius to a pin size radius or a point, and I believe that would be called 0.0 energy at that point in time, since the gas is collapsing, not expanding. Now you cannot get 0 point of energy if you're really expanding, because you're expanding, you don't have a point anymore, it gets bigger. But as a focus point, as resonance, when you have gas will implode, it would create a massive amount of resonance. As my ears start still ringing right now, it's very possible then the cell, the Joe cell, literally run on the resonance, and the motor runs on the resonance, like I suspected a long time ago. But by duplicating, or kind of duplicating the cell, I see the reaction right away with the gas. It's not an explosive gas, it's an implosion gas. You know, two, I put this thing put a lead over, hold up pressure to pressurize it, and then to see what kind of reaction I got in the end of the line when it's plugged up, see if I have a resonance point coming out of it. When that's done, then I will be able to do a test on the actual a closed chamber engine, a gasoline engine. As long as I get a carburetor, because the carburetor is the best thing to create a vacuum. It's got the rod who hold the filter over the carburetor is exactly in the center, it's right in the center of the throat of the carburetor. So it's perfectly centered. So the rod became your focus point of the resonance. So if you hook up the hose to that, of course the hose is not bringing the gas, it's plugged right up with a sleeve, an iron plug. So bring the plug right to the top of the rod of the carburetor, and the end of the rod should create a focus point, since it's evenly put right in the center of the vortex going on underneath. Now as soon as you start cranking the engine, it would create a vacuum there or immediately, which is a normal phenomena for a downdraft carburetor. So at that point in time, we're going to be doing some more tests, and hopefully I'll have the top and the bottom to hold everything together nice and still this coming week here. Today is Thanksgiving dinner, Thanksgiving dinner, so I'm doing a few little tests on the video just to let you guys know. Thing is going forward. My generator on the other side there, I'm still waiting for a couple of parts to do some tests on it, especially instrument. I want to see to be able to read what is going on of this generator, and but even the little one, when we're talking about the little one here, when I get close to the little one, I don't talk much about the little one, about what the little one can do and stuff like this, but this little thing over there does something very strange. I mean, I'm going to give you those are communication spark gap. Without those, you cannot achieve communication. Okay, they have a tiny things inside. I'll try. Oh, there it is. You're going to see it. It's a spark gap. It's probably, I would say, maybe 20,000 of an inch in between under vacuum. Now I can make this spark gap, as you see before, light up red, working function just by me holding it and touching the water when it was on my chair there, when the little machine was working. That requires a lot of voltage to do that. And why I'm not feeling anything? Because it goes on the communication system, so it will go through me one way or the other. We have millions of communication waves going through us right now, and it makes no difference. You know, it goes right through because it doesn't carry any electron. But it's kind of interesting. It turned red, and red, I know red had to be a hot plasma. It cannot be a cold plasma. Cold plasma, the blue. But a red plasma is definitely hot because the little glass get warm when I hold it there for a long period of time. The glass get warm, so obviously it's warm plasma. And to be able to have plasma that close to your finger, hot plasma, and creating the plasma with your body, and a transfer of energy through water, it's quite interesting. You know, it gives you I don't know, a sensation of accomplishing something, but it sure make you scratch your head and wondering what the heck is going on here. You know, and why we are being so suppressed about technology they have. Obviously, I'm not making those parts. We're finding it, you know, here and there. So I'm still waiting also for my transmitter. You know, those ones don't come that often, but when they come, I'll definitely going to get one so I can study it. The generator, so far my motor is holding back. My last motor is holding back, so my drive motor. We're waiting we find out some aluminum and nickel wire, and like I say, we try to make a deal because we don't want to buy 100 kilos because that would be very expensive at $36 a kilo. So we try to get probably a couple of kilos of wire, and we're working on that right now. You know, we have the outer end coming, like, you know. My buddy was doing that. He got the flu, so he was a poor guy. He can barely move around. So I might give him a phone call, see if he's still alive today. But you know, I'm keep moving on testing this and testing that and testing the small machine and stuff like this. It's just like, you know, we just try to figure out what would be the best way. I always want to test the Joe cell. Very interesting, very interesting. Phenomena coming out of it. Now I understand a lot of people try to sell and doesn't work because they try to feeding this gas into a motor. Well, Can you imagine you're feeding a gas who collapses instead of exploding in a combustion engine, which combustion engine need a gas who expand, not retract. So that wouldn't work really well. Unless you can make your motor work in a different way, but it would be kind of useless. So this is my little video for today to show you a little bit more of what it was going on and stuff like this. So I just want to let you know the power coming up from the Lou machine is very interesting. I test a lot of stuff with that Lou machine before I use the big machine, because I know that one, for a long times. So yeah, so that's where I am right now, playing with cell, waiting for parts, playing over there and doing some tests. So that's about it for the big lab. I'm getting ready here for, I will be able to do Skypes when I work with a certain amount of people. I'm just getting set up and testing computer. I believe my computer I bought is too slow, so I'm going to have to take that back. We're going to do a couple of more tests on it, but that computer is way too slow for Skype. For some reason, I thought this was going to be just as good. I didn't think we could buy a 264 anymore, and this thing is just about as slow as a 264. So we're going to figure out what's wrong with it. If you cannot smart up, then we're just going to do another computer. Simple as that. Take that back and get another one. But that's about it for the experiment. But I have a little bit of, I won't say about what do you call that, raving. Everybody want me to having another raving. I don't think I do much of a raving, but I just like tell the way I see it. You cannot avoid listening to this gong show who's going on in the States right now. I mean, I was thinking about it. I just told a friend of mine. I said, they can solve this problem on a voting bulletin. Why you don't have a space there if you're not satisfied with any of the candidate? Because obviously you have to be millionaire to be a president or prime minister. If you don't have millions of dollars, you can't win there. Why can a butcher can be a president, or a bread maker can be a president, or a guy who cleaned the bathroom could be a president? He probably can do a better job than what all those idiots is doing out there, because they have absolutely no clue and no sense of reality. They're living under a little 1% la-la land, and the rest, get fucked in the end of the day. So, but if you had a place on the bulletin board who says if you're not satisfied with any of the above, you vote in this box. So you have the right to vote, to raise your voice. And if that box in the end of the election have more vote than all the other guy there, well, that's mean the election has been annulled. Yes, you're going to get stuck with the same president for a little longer, but at least you can make a choice now, an intelligent choice. That's mean, hey, let's find someone who actually make sense of doing this to run this country. Because right now, I'm telling you, the American is a joke. Is literally the laughing stock of the world, and they want to rule the world. Holy macro. I mean, you have to be literally sick in the head. I mean, we're talking about totally no IQ whatsoever to believe those people will help the poor. Or, I mean, everybody's talking about the middle class. The middle class is making $150 a year, for fuck's sake. Where do they have to complain? About the people who are making $12,000, $15,000 a year by scraping with 2 jobs. Why we don't talk about those people? Because they're the one they're sucking the blood out of them. The middle class has got a little blood to give away, right? What about the lower class, the one who makes, or the slave of everybody? Those are the one people don't realize. They don't talk about it. You know, always the poor middle class, the poor middle class. Well, the middle class is halfway there, so it's doing just fine. What about the people who cannot afford to pay hydro, or buy food if they pay hydro, or pay the roof over their head and not having hydro or food? What about talking about those people for a change? All the bullshit it is about the election in Canada or the United States is the same fucking thing again, right? What about all the 1-2% of the fucking world? Well, I don't fucking give a shit at that point in time, because you know what? If you take away all the lower people, the lower class people who are the one who do all the works, those fuckers on the top can't wipe their ass when they take a shit. Literally. Who's gonna do that for them? The little guys is gone now. The little guys is gone. He won't clean their toilet. Won't clean their bathtub. Won't clean their sink. So who's gonna do that? I think people should realize the lower class is more important when it comes to manufacture and get job done, building up, road built, than the middle class. Because the middle class doesn't give you a whole lot of labor. It gives you a beginning of going up the ladder. But the little guy don't see that. All they see is miseries. When I'm going to get, if I can make enough money to pay the rent this month. That's what people should be talking, I think. That's my personal opinion. And probably the opinion of hundreds of thousands of people. But if we don't raise up our voice to let know our opinion, then it goes unknown. So, it's like this cell here. People don't really show this thing up. This cell has been going on for, 30, 40 years. Never went up. The guy who built that Australian guy, he got threats and stuff like this. His car runs on, if he's still running his car, it was running on nothing. Literally on nothing. But why this cell is not out there? To having a car runs on nothing, non-pollution would be a good start, isn't it? Generator runs on nothing, non-pollution. You got to do with the noise, but it's still a beginning of something. Better than nothing. Why does technology suppress? Right? As far as I'm concerned, that's exactly what Tesla was using to run his car. He didn't have an electric car. He knew how to run a combustion engine under resonance, because he knew how to manipulate resonance and to create plasma. He was an expert on that. For him, plasma, it was like, wow, that was his third hand, literally, of his body, when he figured out how to manipulate it. So, but anyway, that's all I got to say today. So, I'm just doing experiments and then try to figure out what the heck is going on. So, and very interesting effect, I would say. And we're going to keep on going till we get it right. So, cheerio, guys.